Graybeard Gaming. Good day, everyone. This is the Graybeard Gaming Podcast, where we talk about the gaming industry and as it pertains to us as consumers. With that, there's very little industry news, so we're going to talk about what we're playing and what platform that we like to play on. I'm your host, Scott. Have with me Liam. Liam, have you ever done an escape room?
No, I have not. I do want to sometime, because I know there is like some local escape rooms, so we need to get a group and make one happen.
Yeah. We did one yesterday for my wife's birthday. And we went with some friends of hers from work. So there were 6 of us, and it was a pirate theme. And I really didn't know what to expect from this. I've never done an escape room. It was very... I felt like a Goonie. I really did. I mean, they did a very good job of solving this physical puzzle to open something that opens something else, that gives you a clue to something else that goes in and just... cascades down to these things. I had a lot of fun. It was almost like, and I kind of chuckled when I'm in the middle of it, and I'm like, if I could explain to somebody like playing in VR, this is it. Like you're doing, you're doing these things, and everything that you do, you have to put your hands on, you have to move and manipulate. It's not like pushing a button. So it is really fun. I recommend it to anybody. If you got a group of friends, Go to an escape room and, pick a theme, and hopefully it's good. We have some, these are kind of like the premier escape rooms. We have some that are closer to where we live, but they're very discounted, I guess is a good word. So I'm not sure if it's like, after what we did and how much money we spent on this one, going to the other one, I could only assume... like the one that we went to was you're on a boat. Like it's built like there's a big wheel. There's a lower deck. You have to unlock the lower deck. There's black lights. There's a sky, like a simulated sky with constellations. And it's all kinds of stuff. I can only assume that what you would pay for this other one is like you have to shuffle through papers to find a code to the door, So look, you made it out. Yay, next.
Yeah, it is that thing where you get what you pay for. So
right. So then once you've done this, it's like, how come this is like a third of the price? Like, what is it?
Yeah, well, that's what show. That will show itself its price. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
I'm glad you had fun though.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. There was 6 of us. I think if there were 4 of us, it would have been more fun because you got like multiple people with their hands on everything, and it was kind of crowded. So it wasn't like you could step back and look at any specific puzzle. You just kind of had to help everybody do everything, but it was good. We had 53 seconds left, and we opened the door. So, yeah, we definitely got our money's worth. I don't think there's a way you can go in there and like after 20 minutes go, oh, I got this. They pace it really well. Mm-hmm. So anyway, in non-reality, what have you been playing this week? I want to hear. I'm curious.
Honestly, not much. I've been in and out of Diablo again, just seeing what's happening. There's not much happening in that game. I just want to grind forever.
Yeah.
I tried the first Descendant. I've played a little bit of that.
I did too. What'd you think?
I think it's alright actually. I like how it starts. I do miss just having like a different shooter to play. So yeah, I might get into that. Although it's got like some slack because it's a free game, but it's a lot of microtransactions in it. So
yeah,
I don't know how to feel about that because it's free. So I thought there should be some sort of purchase. Obviously, they've got to make money.
They got to pay for the game.
but there's a lot of people like complaining, oh, that's behind a paywall and that's behind a paywall. It's like, oh, it's a free download. So it's like, do you need all that stuff, or can you
Y-
just play the game?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, people are complaining about it a lot.
I didn't.
See how the game goes.
I didn't spend a lot of time in the store. I did play it a little bit. I played. I made a character. The character that has ice damage. I always go with. I love ice damage, so I went with the lady that shoots like ice grenades and stuff.
Mm.
And I got some loot. I went into I played the beta. Was it earlier this year? I think maybe last year. I don't remember. But that first area you go into was it's much better now. That's the enemies have like a constant flow. There's things to find. There's things. It was very bare in the beta. It's like very just dry and just like you kind of walk around for a good 5-10 minutes. Like, what is this a game? Like, where does this? Oh, now they're spawning it. But I didn't really look at the store that much. I did look at the cosmetics and stuff. I can say that Sweet Baby probably had nothing to do with this game. But you're right. They have to pay for that free game that you are playing. But the fine line is: did you see anything in the store that was like an overpowered weapon or something that would?
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't been much
didn't,
into
but
it.
I didn't spend a lot of time.
The
in
only
store.
thing I saw like reported online was if you want to create another character, like extra character slots are paywalled. So it's like, I don't know. So,
Yeah,
but,
that is kind
but
of bothersome. My
I
big
guess
thing is inventory. It's like you want a bigger
yeah,
backpack, you gotta, yeah.
yeah. I don't know how that'll go, but yeah, I'm gonna play that more and see if anybody else is playing it in the groups and see how it goes. I do like the third person type shooter game, so
Yeah,
it definitely felt good.
yeah.
I mean, it looks great.
It
So
does. It's a really good looking game, and surprisingly, it performs well on PC. I mean, it's great. It's like
yeah,
when anytime we get a good release on PC that's not, chugging at 40 frames per second, it feels like a win. At this point,
yeah.
we've gotten so many in the last year that they were just garbage. But it's really, it's not a PvP game, and it's not.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not one for. I feel like if you're going to play a free to play looter shooter, you've got no reason to complain about the store. Like you're agreeing to that. Like that's what you're getting when you play a free to play looter shooter. It's going to have an atrocious microtransaction, store. Destiny 2 did that. I mean, everybody's did. The Division did that. Although those games weren't free to play to begin with, but it's like they go up and up and up until everybody's like, "Hey, wait a minute," and then they can, we'll fix that, So they'll probably adjust it as people complain. But on Steam, I saw that it was one of the top sellers, not sellers, but actually, it says sellers, but it's download for last week. Yeah. So it looks like it's doing good, and it helps that there's nothing to play right now. I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah. There's nothing really coming out.
I keep screaming, Microsoft, hello, over here, Avowed. Be a great time to drop that thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so did you get a chance to play anything else, or was it?
Yeah, just that really, and I haven't really, I haven't felt like playing much lately either. So
Yeah, I'm kind of getting into that too. Man, the last like 3 to 4 days here have just been so hot, just like so, like that. By the end of the day, like at 3 o'clock, you're just drained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here we had
Yeah,
we just had like thunderstorms and lightning and rain. I thought, yeah. Here we are. It is the British summer. We just get rained on the whole time. Well, okay. Well, that's summer, I guess.
Yep. But yeah, I played I played a little bit of the first Descendants, and then I dipped into some VR. I've been playing a lot of Dungeons of Eternity. I can't. That's my Diablo. I mean, it's a Diablo
Yeah.
game. It's just in VR, and that game is. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Uh, I'm having. It's summer. School's out. I'm having a hard time finding some grown people to play with. And it's funny because I'll get in a match and it's three players. It'll be me and another person, and the other person will be like, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on? You know, we're gonna go do this dungeon." It's like, "Okay, I've got this. What's your level? What are you carrying?" You know, we kind of like already strategizing what we're gonna, how we're gonna tackle this dungeon. And then here comes some
Yep.
7-year-old singing, Beyonce song, throwing their weapons around and la la la, and it's just so. And then I'm like trying to convince the other person not to leave. Like, please don't leave me here with this person. It's like, don't leave me here. If I leave this one, I'll go to the next one. And it'll be the same thing. Just do this dungeon with me. So it's kind of been a kind of a practice in patience and humility to try to beg people to, like, don't leave me in here with this child to play this game with.
Yeah.
So when school starts, then that'll taper off, I guess. But I'm still digging the VR. I've been playing a lot of it, and I also got Medieval Dynasty, which is just dropped on Game Pass, and it's a fantastic survival game that's set with, like, it's not any kind of fantastical setting or anything. It's just medieval times, and it's a survival game. But they have another studio made a VR version of that, and I'm having a blast with it. It's like actually, like, killing an animal, skinning it, cutting the meat up, putting it in a pan, cooking it, stirring, making fires, making, building stuff. It's all just, very tactile and enjoyable, and it's like a low stress. There's no, you're not going to starve or die of thirst like every 5 seconds. And it's been very relaxing. So, to kind of beat the heat and stay indoors. So I've been playing that as well. A lot of fun with it. But since there's no news really, I mean, there's stuff, but nothing really that pertains to us, the people that buy these games. I wanted to take a minute to just talk about, our favorite platform, like what we play on. We talk about everything on the show. We talk about Nintendo. We talk about PC. We talk about PlayStation, Xbox. What we choose to play on primarily, and why. And Liam, I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna argue with you how wrong you are.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. All right. Well, my main system is Xbox. I've got a Series X, and I've still got a 360. So
Oh,
I just
nice.
still play like the older games as well. I do like it. I don't have anything else, although I've had different systems in the past. I wish I could have everything, but I don't have money. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that is a factor.
it's definitely a factor here. So I've kept them. I've had them for ages. So and I've never had a problem with the Xbox consoles. I missed the whole red ring with 360. So
Yeah, wrap it in a towel.
yeah,
I did
yeah,
that, yeah, for a little
yeah.
while.
I never had that because that was after, like, before I got into Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up on, wow, let's see, I grew up on a lot of consoles. I had different consoles growing up. So I've been on the Sega Genesis. I think that was my first
Yeah.
system.
Oh man, I miss that thing. I still got mine, but it doesn't work anymore. I should probably throw it away.
I had PlayStation 1, I had N64,
Mm-hmm.
I had PS2. PS2 was the best console ever, honestly. First time.
Agreed. I would agree with that.
That was just the best. I don't know what it was. Just yeah, we had so many memories on that thing. But yeah, eventually, just we went to get a new console, and I wanted, like, obviously the age of online play after the Xbox, and 360 and PS3 era. So we were trying to decide, like, what console should we get as a group,
Yeah.
and we just decided Xbox. I've just been on Xbox since.
Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah, started growing my library. Had a 360. I had a Wii as well at some point, but
I think everybody did.
Yeah,
Mine's still in
everyone's
the
got a
attic
Wii.
somewhere. Yeah.
That was definitely fun. But yeah, from 360, and then the Xbox One came out. I didn't really care about the whole what was going on.
Oh
I was
God,
just a
no.
kid, like I was just a kid, like, oh, new Xbox. I'll just get the new Xbox.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But after the Xbox One, like a few years later, they added backwards compatibility and they started making different moves. I was like, no, I actually like this platform. I know where they're going, and yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I keep with it because I can still play my old games, my new games, and yeah, it's great for me.
Yeah.
So I'm in my digital library, and yeah, it's stuck with me now.
Yeah, that's what ties you to your platform for the most part. Yeah, I remember when Xbox. Of course, I was one of the ones that jumped ship when they started saying TV, 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 and the Connect was built into it and that price tag.
I was actually one of the ones that were like, yay, Connect, because I was still like after the Wii and the 360 Connect. I was really enjoying that play, but I guess
Yeah.
motion controls just died with the Wii and the Wii U. So after that, no one
Yeah,
cared.
well, I think even
So
that though, before the launch of the Xbox One, that Connect kind of bump was starting to drop. I mean, it was
yeah,
that whole motion thing was kind of fizzling out, but they had already put this into production, and I just didn't like the fact that you had to have it.
yeah,
That didn't make
yeah.
sense to me as a customer. I'm like, why do I have to
Well,
have something that I will never use?
yeah. I mean, I know they're trying to market as, but you get everything included, sort of
Right,
thing.
right.
And oddly enough, Sony wanted to do the same thing. They were thinking about adding the PS camera to the PS4, but they saw Microsoft screw up and went, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
I would love to know what was going on behind the scenes at that camp. Like when they knew what the price was going to be for each one, what changed? On Microsoft,
Yeah,
I bet they didn't change anything. They were just like $4.99. We're going to sell it. It's going to be great. Sony had something to prove that year. Sony is like, okay, the PS3 kind of killed us, with the price and the technology, and like every third party game was crap on it. The first party games were difficult to make, and then as we know now, very difficult to do any kind of backwards compatibility to because of that processor. So
yeah,
they were like, we're just going to make a game console, just make it as easy to develop for as possible, make it and then the price is going to be, what is it? What's the price? And then I just wonder how close to E3 that announcement they knew what they were going to do, because then it was like that was like, I don't remember who went first. I want to say it was
I think it was.
Microsoft. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it was
I think
Microsoft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Microsoft did go
And
first.
they're like
And
$4.99. Everybody's like, yeah, really?
and because that was the whole thing with Sony as well. Why they sort of won that generation before it started is because
Yeah.
Microsoft went first, laid it up for Sony, and went, "Here, just do everything do the opposite of what we just did." So
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
very easy for Sony.
Exactly. Yeah. And Trenton got out there and he's like, and the price is, and that little pause. And when he did that little pause, I'm like, oh man, he waited. He knew he had it. $3.99. Bam. I mean, it was in the console history books, that E3 was probably one of the best. Just so much. I mean, the drama, the watching this thing unfold in front of you. It was just amazing to watch. And at that point, and this is what did it for me. I had been, you know, a huge Bungie fan up until then. Which, I know now you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be fans of studios. But huge fan. So anytime a Halo came out, Joe Staten would come out there, with his controller and his microphone in his ear, and he's like, okay, so we're gonna show you the next Halo, right? And here it is. And he'd play some things and he'd talk about it, And somebody was probably actually doing the gameplay, but whatever.
Yeah.
They wanted to show Destiny at that E3, and he walks out on stage, and what does he have in his hand? PS4 controller. and they showed it on the PS4. And I'm like, that's it. I'm getting a PS4. And I did. I went and pre-ordered one that next day, or whenever they had the pre-orders, which I think was the next day. But it's, yeah. But I did get an Xbox One when they dropped the price, got rid of the Kinect, and added, I think I got a bundle that had like the Master Chief Collection for free.
Yeah.
So that's when I bought in, and I'm like, man, this controller, it feels like home. The interface feels better. I'm not getting as good performance from that as I was on the PS4, but my library is there, everything from like the 360 that I bought, when it started becoming backwards compatible, it's just like popping up on my. So yeah, that was, my PS4, I eventually just sold it. And I did buy another one, and it broke. And then I bought another one, and it broke. And I think that's also a factor, too. Oh. I've only had one Xbox go out, one. I've owned, God, I had 3 original Xboxes. I had the black one, and I had and I still have this one. I have the Halo translucent green one. And then a friend of mine at work gave me his. He's like, man, do you think you can fix this? And I was like, well, yeah, probably. What's wrong with it? He said, I plugged it in and something like popped. Smoke came out. And I'm like, geez. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, he said, you know what? If you can fix it, you can keep it. I'm like, okay. So I took it home and I opened it up, and then one of the solder leads for the power connection had broken. Probably from somebody, moving the cable back and forth for so long, it just popped off and it shorted when he plugged it in. I soldered it back on there, plugged it up, thing worked great. I had 3 of them. So what I do, have a LAN party. Go get an extra copy of Halo, invite some friends over. Yeah, that was a blast. So, and then I got the 360, and then, and it was the arcade version, because that's all I could get. Everything else was sold. And then eventually I got one with the hard drive. And that one was that one was the Ring of Death. That one was where you had to wrap it in a towel and run it for like hours, hoping that what it would do is it would heat up the solder joints on the GPU. And then when you turned it off and let it cool, it would reconnect. It's like some and it had like a 30% success rate. I did it like 9 times. It never did. It always,
That's why it was funny. How the 360 was so successful yet so broken at the same time.
It cost them like $1 billion. To fix that, and that almost killed it. Like, it
still sold incredibly well.
It did. It went on to sell. They made their money back. But at that point, they were like, how much is this going to cost us to fix it? And they told them, and they were like, do we do it? Like, do we do it, or we just say, that's it. That's it for 360. And I can't remember who was the interview with, but they said, no, we have to do this. We have to fix this. We owe it to these people. We owe it to the people that we sold them the idea of Xbox on. And they waited in line for hours at midnight to get this thing. We owe it to them. And they did. They fixed it. Now, whether that actually happened or if they're just kind of like, making themselves look better, who knows? But
no, because that's the thing with the history of Xbox is it's never been a certain thing. Like 360 or even Xbox One, like they had their low points. Even after Xbox One, Microsoft, like heads of Microsoft, were going to the Xbox division like, we might shut you down.
Yeah.
Because this isn't working. So get some new people or this is cancelled, basically. And then Phil Spencer and his team had to, bring it back from the ashes and went, hey, if we do this, we can bring it back. And, oh, look, we've got Game Pass now. And look how well it does. And they had to do a lot of goodwill, a lot of convincing.
They did.
And now look at Microsoft buying publishers. That would never have happened in 2013.
No, can you imagine if you said, "Oh, well, they're going to buy Activision"? You'd be like, "You're nuts! That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard." Especially, it took them. I think Phil took over in like around June 2014, something like that, maybe earlier. But and the first thing he did was get rid of the Kinect. Like don't ship anymore with the Kinect on it. Period. Drop the price. And that alone showed that sales went up. And because people were waiting, it's like you're going to have a version that doesn't have that creepy thing that's spying on me. And then when they do, I'll buy it.
Yeah. Even though everyone has a phone with a camera next to them, but
but you don't set it on your TV pointed at you.
I know.
But still,
I always find that funny. It's like, privacy concern. It's like, I thought we dumped privacy back in the 90s with smartphones, but oh well.
Oh yeah,
I mean, everyone's using AI. Well, privacy concerns.
You're gonna. There's no privacy anymore anyway. But that just shows how little people trust, Microsoft as a company, because they, it's just been like they're not doing anything different that Sony has not been doing since day one either. But whatever.
But PS4 was just better and cheaper. That was the thing that killed them. Mm-hmm. It was better and
cheaper. That's all it took. That's all it took. Yeah. And then they did the little video of like, hey, can I borrow that game? Here.
Yeah.
And that's how you borrow a game.
Because that whole DRM policy thing, that was...
it's weird. But look, if you go back now and look at what that was going to have in the perspective of 2024, it's amazing. It's really cool. But...
it sounded cool, but like they're...
It was shady.
I can't remember what it was, but that whole disc-based thing they were doing.
It's like you could put a game in, and then
that was not communicated well at all.
No,
that was terrible. They were like, "Oh yeah, you can have a disc. But if you want to get rid of that disc, you have to go to a shop, and they will like deregister it or from your console." And it's like, what the hell?
Yeah,
and that just that confused everybody. We're like, "No, we're out."
Well, what it was doing, it was basically just taking a disc, you put it in your Xbox, and it makes it a digital download. You just bought the license. By putting the disc in, you assign the license to your account.
Yeah.
The problem was if you took that disc and gave it to someone else, they couldn't use it. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Now though, in 2024, who gives a shit? Nobody's buying physical media anyway.
Yeah, now it would make more sense in a weird way, because a lot of people also have that question. Mm-hmm. Because if you buy like a Blu-ray film, you get a digital copy with it.
Right.
Yeah. And like, why can't we do that? And people are like, why can't we do that with games? It's like, well, that's right. What they sort of wanted to
That's what they were doing, but you didn't want it, And now even with physical media, the people that want physical media, but they also want, they don't want to like get up and change a disc every time they want to play a different game.
Yeah.
That gives them, if they could give them that option to do that. Because I know a couple of years ago they were asking Microsoft, it's like, hey, can we have this digital thing now where you buy a copy and it puts the license on and you don't have to put the disc in anymore? And Microsoft's like, fuck you. No, we tried to do that, you little bastards.
As well. That's the thing as well now, because like, for example, the Series S or just discless consoles have a problem when it comes to media, and if that thing was disc only, then you can't play it. I've got a backwards compatible game. It's probably the only game I own on disc because everything's digital in my library. But I've got Batman Arkham Origins on my Xbox because that game was just available on disc.
Yeah.
But I can't turn it into a digital download.
No.
I need the disc.
Right.
If someone was in the Series S, they just can't play it now.
Right. If you went out and bought I'm going to buy the new Xbox, and it didn't have a disc on it, well then, it's an obvious thing, but it's not something that, I really thought that much about. I bought my wife a PlayStation 5 discless version because I got a good deal on it and it was used. But anyway, not really thinking about like, wow, we could have used that to watch movies on, we could have, I could have got her some games, like the versions that she wanted to play with some friends at work that had PS5s. And again, we could have got used copies of those discs of those games for dollars, but yet you have to go to the store and buy them for 50, $60. It's a fine line, between what is good and what's good for you as a customer and what's not good for you as a customer. And it really just boils down to both of these entities have one store, and you can only buy them from one store. Well, except for Microsoft. Microsoft, you can buy keys from other places.
Yeah,
But,
I've bought keys and they seem to work fine. So
yeah,
that
I have
is,
too.
that's an option as well.
Yeah. Sony gets into a lot of trouble for not allowing that. They have one store. That's the only place you can buy it. If you go to a retail store, this is what I always thought was funny. If you go to a retail store, Microsoft has like Forza 5. You can buy a gift card, $60, Forza 5. You give it to somebody, they scratch the number off, and they have the game.
Yeah.
Or you can just, while you're there, just get the, I don't even want to deal with the store. Just buy it, put it in your cart, and, with your other stuff. Sony doesn't do that. They don't have any like gift cards or digital anything in a store. The only thing they have is the gift cards for their store. That's it.
Yeah. Because they want you to make their one store.
They want you to go to the store. Right. They want you to go to the store. Yeah. They want you to find that game, and they want you to, and I get it. It's marketing, and it's bringing the store, but it doesn't really give your customers any options at all for where they buy games. It's just, it's terrible. But to go back to your original statement, so what was your first console? What was your first gaming machine?
Yeah, that was the Sega Genesis, I believe.
Sega Genesis, yeah.
I was very young at that time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have consoles if I didn't have older brothers. And they had the game consoles, and I was just like along for the ride for the most of the time. So.
Right.
And then thank you for siblings, because I got a lot of gaming consoles. I never went to PC. I've had PCs. I've never had a gaming PC.
Mm-hmm.
But gaming, back then PC gaming was a nightmare anyway. Like proper PC gaming, all the driver updates and things go wrong and this and that, and it's a lot more streamlined now than it used to be. So I understand why a lot of people go PC now. I just liked console. It never bothered me, like frame rates and resolutions, and because we were playing in like, I don't know, I was playing Aladdin and Lion King and 2D scrollers. So
it didn't really matter. I had the Sega Genesis with the CD, and then later got the 32X. And that was the first time I got to play Doom. Was on the 32X, which is arguably like one of the worst versions of that game. But I wore that game out. I mean, it was just, holy cow. It was just completely, yeah. So as far as, and of course now in 2024, it's hard to get away from that digital library. I mean, like currently, I don't have a PlayStation. I gave my PS4 to my daughter, but I have games on there. Now I have games that I've purchased that are not available to me. Does that bother me? In a way, kind of, but honestly, that thing was sitting there. I wasn't playing them anyway.
Yeah, if you have any spares, that's different.
But
I don't know if I want a PS5 or I don't know.
Yeah, there's no reason to go get a PS4. Go get a used PS4. You can play anything that they've got available. There's only one exclusive that they have that you have to have a PS5 for?
There's a couple now, I think.
Ratchet and Clank, I think.
Spider-Man 2.
Okay, Spider-Man 2, yeah. I don't want to play that anyway.
That's the only game I'm really jealous of, the fact I got Spider-Man. I'm like, why couldn't we just have Spider-Man? I don't care about the rest, really.
Yeah.
I miss a good Spider-Man games. That's really the only thing that I'm
they
bummed
used to
about,
be,
to be honest.
Produced by Activision.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I've got a Spider-Man game from Activision in my library. It wasn't great, but
yeah, there's been some that were terrible. Spider-Man 2.
it's always fun to just like swing around though as well.
It is. Spider-Man 2 for Xbox, the original Xbox, was
Oh,
arguably one of the best superhero games ever
yeah,
made up to a certain
that's
point. Yeah.
yeah, that those Spider-Man games, oh, they were so good.
I mean, all
So
of New,
good. I think
like all of Manhattan on your original
yeah,
Xbox and PlayStation 2.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I was on PS2 at the time, but
yeah,
yeah, that was so
man,
good.
that game was. And I remember seeing the differences between like the PS2 version and the Xbox version, like load times and like there was
Mm.
actually reflections on his costume, and I was like, oh my god,
Wow.
this looks just like the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
I
no, it
kind of
didn't.
I do miss that sort of era in gaming because we had a lot more superhero games.
Hmm.
Not, I mean, you had Spider-Man, we had like I don't know X-Men games
Oh yeah,
um
those top-down
and
X-Men games. I think Raven Software did those. Yeah.
the Matrix games. I miss the Matrix so much. As you know, like Path of Neo into the Matrix,
Yeah.
or we had a lot of like different consoles, some PC. Um, but yeah, a lot of the time was devoted on the PS2.
Hmm.
I miss the PS2. Just
Man, I
even
had
like games that weren't good. I don't know if they were actually good or not. As a kid, they were the best thing ever for me.
no. There's a
Um,
lot of games that are on the PS2 that are still good today. I mean, I have some emulation for some stuff that I played on PS2 when I had one, and I'm like, this game still slaps. I mean, it's I mean, it's just
yeah,
what the Champions of Norath. I love that game. It was made by the same guys that made Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, but it was based on EverQuest. And of course, Sony owned EverQuest, so that it was exclusive to PlayStation 2. But man, that game was better than Baldur's Gate in every way.
wow.
Yeah, like it just and they added. It was just a better game. And there was a game that convinced me to get a console while I was on PC, or helped convince me, is the Mark of Cree. Do you remember that game?
I don't think so.
It looked like an animated Disney movie, or of course a game version of a animated Disney movie, but it was just super brutal. And the mix of like that cartoon look and
Yeah.
that visceral combat, I was just like, what is? I gotta get a PlayStation 2. This is it. I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta
I
get
mean,
that.
I was a kid, so I didn't have choice of what games we
Yeah, it was like
bought.
whatever
Was
whatever your brothers probably bought.
yeah,
Yeah.
wherever we were allowed to. I don't know what we were allowed
Oh
to do
yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that was the era when it was like, wait a minute, what is on that? What is this game? Wait a minute, flip the back
yeah,
over
so
here. Nudity, sexual what? No, I mean, of course they didn't have that PS, but yeah, I
oh,
remember.
I do remember like the first GTA. I played the first
Yeah.
GTA.
Oh my
The
god.
top down. Oh wow, yeah, that was.
Oh man, yeah.
Go back to play it, but wow, surprised I was allowed to play this.
I know. And that game was surprisingly good on the PS2.
Yeah,
It was, of course, it was better on the Xbox just because of the hardware difference, but it totally held up on the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 is just as far as like diverse library of good games. I don't think you'll find a better console. I don't think we'll ever have
yeah,
a better console than what you could play on the PS2.
yeah.
Between the just the RPGs, I mean, From Software had some games on the PS2 that were just, of course, extremely difficult. King
It just seemed to
something, I don't remember.
it just seemed to have everything on the PS2. Like
Yeah,
that
like
was like peak.
you could find a game that you liked on the PS2, just hands down. Like whatever genre you wanted, whatever you were into, whatever you liked, you would find it on the PlayStation 2. And I think
Yeah.
the 360 got to that point as well of having such a diverse kind of, thing going on. But yeah, the PS2 goes down as, yeah, arguably one of the best console.
I mean, it is like the best-selling console until the Switch catches up. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I
so
think.
that's why Nintendo's just like, no, don't say anything about Switch 2 yet. Let us get
Yeah.
past
Let it
PS2
go. I'm
just
sure.
talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I could see them doing that because they're probably, I don't know the geography of Japan, but they're probably like 3 blocks away from Sony. Just they probably moved their building. We're gonna move over here. We're gonna just so we can keep an eye on you.
I mean, Sony don't even operate in Japan anymore.
Do they not?
No,
Is it just here?
yeah, Sony's mostly based in the US
I
anyway.
thought they still had the building in
I mean,
Japan.
I mean, they might do, but they even close like some Japanese studios themselves. So
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's going on everywhere. But okay, so I'll give you a brief history of which mine goes deeper, obviously. But my first console was the Atari, and my brother and I got the Atari. My dad is this big hunting fishing guy, but he always had the latest console. Like we always had that latest console that was the one to pick. So he
yeah,
got us a an Atari for Christmas. He wrapped it and he put it under the tree. And of course, me and my brother, who were left alone a lot, were like, "That's an Atari." I was like, "I don't know." And one of his friends had gotten an Atari, and I was like, "Go get his box." So he went and got his box. He's like, "Can I borrow your empty box?" So we brought it back, and we placed it right on top of the Christmas present, and it matched perfectly. And we're like, "Oh my God, this is an Atari!" So we opened it like very carefully on the end of it, and we opened the end of it, and we took it out, and we installed it, and we would play it every day after school. And then at a certain time, we'd wrap everything back up, put it back in the box. This is before they had like all this extreme packaging, right? It was just in
yeah,
the box with I think some foam, and then everything just had rubber bands around it. So it was easy to kind of make it look like. So we did that like every day, and then when we got out of school, we just played it all day, up until Christmas. And then Christmas, we got it, we opened it, and we were still excited. I mean, it didn't diminish anything. It's like now we get to play it all the time. So we got it.
yeah.
And
Quick, be really excited. Like we haven't played in the last 6 months.
yeah, exactly. So and games like it didn't really have any information on it. So when you plugged it in, it wasn't like it wasn't like somebody saw your name on it.
Yeah,
But we had a lot of fun with that. And then my dad, of course, we would go to bed, and then I would hear him in there playing it till who knows when. We had that forever, and then that's when the kind of the console or the game crash happened, and we started
yeah,
to see it too. It's like the games that we were getting were just garbage, just total garbageware. Like this isn't even a game. Like what is it? So we stopped buying them, just like everybody else did. And then the Nintendo came out, and I asked my dad about the Nintendo. And he said, well, and he said the same thing he always says. We'll see. Knowing damn well he had every intention of buying it because it had Duck Hunt, had a gun, and you could shoot ducks on the screen. So I come home one day and there it was. It was a Nintendo. We played the crap out of that, and Zelda, and all everything. That's the console that kind of defined my junior high school years. And then when I got out, the Nintendo. Super Nintendo came out, and I was living with a buddy of mine. We had an apartment that we were sharing, and he went and bought one, and it's like, wow, cool. Well, he lost his job not long after that, and he couldn't stay in the apartment.
damn,
He's like, I got to move
yeah.
back in with my parents because I can't, And he said, I can't give you money because I don't have any, but you can have the Super Nintendo. And I was like, deal. It's like, because I think
Yeah,
back
you're
then
right.
it was about $200, at least. So I had to move out also, I had to find another place to live that I could afford by myself, so on and so on. Anyway, so I had the Super Nintendo forever. And for me, that is one of my favorite consoles. Just the games that were on that console, I think were just amazing. And I didn't buy another console until a Sega Genesis. But what I really wanted was a PC. I wanted a PC since I was a small child. I wanted a PC after seeing Tron, basically. And when I was in fourth grade, we had computer class. We had a bunch of Apple IICs, and we learned to program for the Apple. And that's what I wanted. I wanted an Apple IIc, and I, begged my parents. But back then, I think those things were like $2,300 or something,
Ow.
which now is like
Yeah, that's-
$13,000. It's like my kid coming up and
that's
going,
crazy.
"I need a car." Like now, I'm like, so I just couldn't afford it. So I got a Sega Genesis. I could afford that, and I played that for a little while. But what I really wanted was a PC, and eventually, I did get a Gateway 2000. And I was able to play Doom. And man, in the mid to late 90s on PC is kind of like the golden era that we look back on. We had games that were like Monkey Island, Dark Forces, a lot of LucasArts stuff. That's back when LucasArts released a game, you just got it because you knew it was going to be good. It was like Blizzard in the early 2000s. It's like if it had Blizzard's name on it, you just got it because you know it was going to be good. All of that stuff. Doom 2, all the Doom clones, and then later Quake. Quake was massive. Man, that thing was like a meteorite hitting. And then, Duke Nukem and, all that stuff. And up until 2002, when I was, a dad, I had a house, had a child on the way, I couldn't sustain that level of PC because back then, now you can buy a GPU and a decent processor and it can last you 5-6 years. Back then it was like, no, it's like every new game that came out was going to crush your computer. And you had to kind of flow with it because technology then was moving so fast. Video cards were updating so fast. Like every 6 months there was new technology out, which was exciting if you could afford it. And it got really expensive. So I just got a regular Xbox. And I could play all the games I wanted to play that were coming out. They were all coming to Xbox. And all I had to do was plug it into the TV and buy the disc. I didn't have to upgrade anything. All I had to do was buy the game. That was it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that we kind of miss as well. Just getting the game, putting the disc in, putting the cartridge in, whatever, and it just plays.
Yeah, it just plays. It just comes up and plays. Everybody remembers the first time they played Halo. They put the disc in, they close it, and it goes, oh, and you're like, whoa, It's universal. Everybody had the same experience. Everybody used the same controller. When you're playing against somebody online, they're using the same controller.
Which is funny when I think about like Xbox and how I'm sort of like an Xbox main person, but I never actually experienced Halo. I missed that whole Halo part.
Wow.
I played like a couple of Halo games, but even me, like that music hits me because that music is just so good.
Oh man, it is.
That whole music is I know what it is. It's just. It's so good. And I haven't even grew up on Halo. I'm like, wow, this hits me, man.
We could do a whole series on Halo alone, but it's again, everybody's experience is the same. I think with that game, other than like your setting. Like most everybody's like, I came home from school. I'm like, came home. I picked my kids up from school.
Yeah.
But I was that when they dropped the price to $200, it was originally like $299. And I told my wife, I'm like, look, I'm not, obviously can't afford, to upgrade the computer to play any games anymore. We have a child on the way. They dropped the price of this for $200. I just want to get one of those. And she was like, cool, So I picked it up on a Saturday after work. We got off at noon on Saturdays. And I went and I picked it up and a copy of Halo and another game. I don't remember what game that was. Got home, plugged it in. So it was like Saturday afternoon. My son was about 4 at the time. So he was like, sitting there with me and like going through all the stuff. And we're like looking at everything. And I plug it up and I turn that on. And, Halo coming on and playing it for the first time was and I'm thinking, and this is in my head, this is someone that's coming from the cutting edge of PC technology. I worked at a computer store. I had a top tier PC. I was floored with what I was seeing on my TV. I mean, it just, I was like, I didn't understand it. It was it was kind of platform breaking for me. And then the things that it added, like 2 weapons. Well, of course it's 2 weapons. Where would you put the third one? Getting health packs and then just the other players in the game, the other characters. You get in a warthog and 2 jump in with you, and you're like, what? Stuff that we take for granted so much that anybody playing it now just wouldn't think twice about it. But back then, when that other character gets in the back on the gun and starts shooting stuff and then going woohoo, it's
it was mind blowing.
It was like I am in a movie. This is not like watching a movie. I am the movie.
Yeah.
It was, and after that, of course, I'm like, I'm sold on it. This is economical. Biggest one, check. It's the graphics are amazing, check. The controller, I'm getting used to it. Mouse and keyboard for
was that when you had that? Was that like the big controller? Did they refine it by then?
When I went to the store, it came with the Duke, the original one.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think they had just released the S controller, which was the smaller one. And so I picked up one of those as well, because in my mind, you always had to have 2 controllers.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to play, So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get that one because it's different. And I honestly don't remember playing that second game. I don't remember what game I got. I know it was used because I got it at, if anybody remembers Software, etc. I got Halo. It was used, and I got another copy of a used game. And I don't know if I even played it. After playing Halo, I was just like, what else is there to play?
There's nothing else. It's just Halo.
Yeah, and I remember going to the store, like I finished it in like 3 days, 3 sittings, and it was like one was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I finished the game. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the best game I've ever played in my life. And so that weekend I went back to Software Center. It's like, do you have any games that are like Halo? He said, you mean shooters? I'm like, no, like the quality of Halo. And he looked at me, he was like, no. I'm like, well, shit. Like, I just played the best, It's kind of like when I got VR and played Half-Life Alyx. And it's like, after that, it's like, are they all like that? No, bro. They're not.
Yeah.
So, but then after that, I went from that into the 360, and I was kind of sold on the whole Xbox thing because it was economical, it was easy, it was affordable, being a dad, and and then of course going back, getting a PlayStation 3 at some point was really cool because I wanted to play The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And then going from there and getting the PS4 and then eventually a Xbox One, and then Xbox One X, and then Xbox Series X. And that whole just family. I've had all the Xboxes.
Yeah.
But I play on PC. That's my choice now, and going to, there was several factors for me going to PC. One of them is I have a degenerative bone in my hand, which makes it difficult to use. It makes it very painful to use a controller. I can still do it, but after a while, it's so excruciating. It's not, So going to mouse and keyboard was very beneficial. And at the time of going from Xbox to PC, I was playing a lot of Destiny 2. And there's a website that you can go to, and this is really cool. So you can put in like the specs of your PC. So I ordered a PC, and I'm really worried. I'm like, God, what if it's like worse than Xbox Series X? Like, what if the performance is like crap? So I went to Reddit, and I'm like, hey, to Destiny 2 Reddit or PC Reddit. I don't know. I don't remember, but I was like, hey, this is what I'm getting. is it going to play Destiny 2 fine? And they laughed at me. They were like, holy shit, dude. They were like, and this guy like put those specs in this website and he sent me the link. He said, go check this out. You can change whatever you want. And I clicked on it. And this was, not long after they added the patch for 60 frames per second for the new consoles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I looked it up and I'm like, so at those specs at 1440p, I can play at like 150 plus FPS with everything turned to max. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm sold. And of course, that was the first game I downloaded when I got it. I set everything up. I'm not new to PC. Just gaming on PC was the last time I did a lot of gaming on PC was Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. No, Jedi Knight 2 or Jedi Knight Outcast. Sorry. Which was in 2002. And you're right. Like after about 2002 to around 2016, 17-ish, PC gaming got really complicated because everybody had their own launcher. Everybody started having their own, all this stuff. But at the same time, Steam was getting way more, it was getting more footing in that in that market, and it made it easy. And it there's some people that actually say that it actually saved PC gaming because it got to a point where it was like, okay,
yeah, I can see that because everyone was trying to get it. Yeah,
right. You got good prices. You download it. You click download, then you click play. You're playing your game. It wasn't like that before. You had to download the launcher, and then the launcher would download the game, and then you would download. Make sure you got the latest drivers, and then. It wasn't that complicated, but it was just a lengthy, it wasn't click and you're ready to go. Steam made it to where you could just click, done, you're ready to go. It is not when I got my PC, I'm like, I went back to my Xbox and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to a step and I'm going to turn this thing on. And how many steps does it take to get into a game? The PC was, other than a login, which you don't have to have, it was the same steps, amount of steps.
So PC definitely come a long way from this. Like,
I mean, it's super
like
easy.
graphic update and all this because all the programs do it for you at this point. So
and a lot of it, I think I did the math, like playing a full year last year on PC as opposed to console, I saved like $350 something, and that's in paying to play online and just the games that came out. Like even some of the AAA games that came out were $10 less on PC.
Yeah, and it's typically cheaper on PC anyway.
Right.
Games,
so
I mean, in Steam sales. So I understand why a lot of people go PC.
Well, that was almost the difference between my PC and an Xbox Series X. You just saved it. Like there's no argument anymore. There's no argument anymore going from console to PC. There just isn't. They say, I got a $5,000 PC. You do not have to have a $5,000 PC. If you spend $5,000 on a PC, you overspent and you probably got something. You may need to recheck and do a little more research. On top of that, though, you're getting something that you can do everything with. You can pay your bills. You can talk to your family. You can write a book. You can, do stuff on the internet. You can watch movies. It's endless. It's absolutely unlimited what you can do on PC. And that's where that value starts to come in as well. I'm doing this podcast on the PC. I do a YouTube channel on the PC, So it's, PC right now, I think, is in a really good state as far as economically and performance. Like you don't have to spend a lot of money to get that performance. Can you spend the same amount of money as a Series X and get similar performance in a PC? I don't think so. But
you have to spend a little bit more on a PC to get the performance of a console. But that's always been the case. I think the difference now is console prices are not going down as much as they did before.
Right. That's what everybody counts on is that over time they start to go down.
Yeah.
They're not.
Which they're not really, and games are going up.
Right.
So obviously Game Pass is a game changer, I think, honestly.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if it wasn't for that, yeah, gaming on console would be extremely expensive. I don't know how people like PS5
I
manage
don't either. Like, you got to be
because like
rich.
yeah, because I'm thinking I'm spending this much on Game Pass, I'm getting shoot like a ton of games a month, right?
Yeah.
Just because of that, and now get like a ton of Microsoft first party as well. But if I want to play, if I wanted to play PlayStation 5 right now, I'm gonna have to spend 450 pound for a PS5, and every game is £70.
Yeah.
And I can't just go to PS Plus and download their games because they took them off. So
Right. Right.
yeah, it's console games getting very expensive now.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I still think that Xbox
I
is the best
understand.
deal.
Yeah, Xbox is getting that value in
Right.
definitely,
Right.
and that's why they're sort of going like, you don't need a console. You don't even need the console anymore. You can stream because they understand that it's like gaming is getting expensive if you just buy everything outright.
Yeah.
So that's why they're like, oh look, here's a subscription. Games day one, you can do it on your tablet,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Exactly.
here's a Series S cheaper console. Here's a Series X more expensive console, or you have PC if you already have a PC.
Well, also think
So
about it's a good gateway, into that
yeah,
ecosystem. Like if you
yeah,
buy into it and you play it on, streaming, you're going to have hiccups. It's undoubtedly you're going to have hiccups. You're
yeah,
going to have disconnects. You're going to have issues. And I don't care what you're on. It's really just if you're streaming a game at some point, somebody in the house is going to start downloading a huge massive file and it's going to be like, what the hell is going on?
yeah,
So at some point you may be like, oh, I'm just gonna go get the I love this game so much. I'm just gonna go buy the console. I'm gonna buy the game, and I'll have it. That's the way I think. That's the way,
yeah,
and for me,
yeah,
it's value because
yeah,
you're getting
definitely.
the best possible version of that. And then you have other things that you have other games that you can choose from. Is there an ice cream
If you
truck in your
Yeah,
apartment?
yes, yes. Sorry about that. The ice cream truck's
Is
just
it really?
driving around my street here.
That's funny.
Surprised there's still ice cream trucks, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's the thing.
Well,
Let me
well,
just.
it is hot outside, so that's
I
funny.
mean, it is hot outside. Yeah, I know. I'm
Jeez,
just surprised it just drove around here.
that's funny.
Uh,
Well, it's yeah, a lot of people complain about, like the price of gaming and stuff, and we do too because we're the consumers. I always complain about prices, especially if they go up. Unfortunately, though, we have to remember it's a hobby. It's a luxury.
yeah.
And consoles have always been that affordable way of playing games. You know,
Mhm.
especially for like younger children. You don't want to spend $2,300. Not you would. I mean, I'm just talking about me. Wanting an Apple
Yeah, yeah,
PC,
yeah.
like $2,300 on something that they
'Cause,
might go click
yeah,
click click.
that's just
Okay, I'm gonna go play
yeah.
my Atari. Um, but a
I mean,
console they can take it to grandma's house. They can take it with them, or they can plug it up to any TV. It makes it very. But when you start to price those things out of being convenient, then it's like,
yeah.
hey guys, and you're right.
I
This
feel
is
like
what Microsoft's getting. It's like, oh, you don't have to take that to grandma's. Does grandma have a tablet? There, you just log in, take your controller, and you're
yeah.
done. You know, Sony.
I do like this. I do like the Series S. The fact that it is like the smallest console they've made
Yeah, it's very portable.
because for that portability. Because the Series X and the PS5, I don't see them as portable
Oh
machines. I
God,
used to.
just moving that
I
PS5 to room was
yeah
is like, what the hell? Why is this coming off? What is this? This is
yeah.
not. Where's the end of this? And is it upside down? What the fuck?
Yeah, I've moved the Series X because I've moved countries with it and
Yeah,
moved around, but it's just this it's just this big
it's a
heavy
block. Yeah.
block. Yeah, I used to move with consoles all the time. The PS2 and the Slim, that was the best.
Oh
The
man, yeah.
freaking size of that thing.
God, the
I've got
PS3.
I've got a mini NES around as well. It's like
Yeah,
tiny. So I love all the tiny systems. But yeah, like the more technology we have, the bigger these things are going to be. So yeah, they're not portable as they used to be.
No. The PS3 that I had was I forget what its nickname, but it has the slide top where to put the disc in, it kind of just slides over. And if you move it, if you look at it wrong or touch it, it pops open. You could be in the middle of a game and it would just go snap and like, God. So moving that thing always was like, I had to be so delicate with it and set it down and then close it.
Like, don't move, don't move.
Because it would wear out and it would just get really
Yeah.
flaky. But I gave that to my son. He still has it. It still works. That was the second PS3 that I've had. I replaced one PS4 that went out, and I also replaced two PS2s that went out.
Yeah.
And
honestly, because I like
one
my
Xbox.
Xboxes because like they've like I've never had an Xbox go out on me, never.
yeah,
Which is surprising because I have a 360, never red ringed. But I have a brother. He took my old Xbox One,
yeah,
the launch Xbox One. Is that still
yeah. I
played?
gave my brother the same one. Yeah,
My friend has a One S that I gave him that
yeah.
I sold to him.
It still works.
And I sold a One X, but all of them worked. And yeah, I've never had a problem with consoles, so I'm just lucky, I guess. But they always work for me. I'm fine with them.
Yeah, they're supposed to. I mean, that's the idea. Well, we'll see what holds with the next iteration of these consoles, but yeah, I think that was kind of important for people to know where we come from on what we're playing on, and why we play on that. And then next episode, hopefully we'll have some news. We'll have some stuff to go over and with the industry and find out, what's happening and where we're going to be putting our money later on. It's probably going to be a VR game for me. So.
Yeah, I imagine that.
Yeah.
Hopefully something happens in the next week or so, but if
I'm
not,
sure it will. If not, we'll talk about football when we come back. So
yeah,
I think that's
we'll see like England won.
yeah. Well, I think that's it for this week, and we will be. I'm gonna have to get a longer outro unless I just ran out of music again. So anyway,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's a good show. We'll probably have some more stuff next week. Hopefully, it will probably happen while we are recording, but that's just the way podcasting goes. So see you guys next week. Thanks for joining in. And again, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, just hang out with us, talk about gaming. Please drop us a line at graybeardgamingcast@gmail.com, and we'll get in touch with you and talk you over with it. Talk over with you with it, not talk you over. I don't know what that even means, but that's what we'll do. All right, Liam, we're out.
All right, I'll see you later.